Peter, let me ask you some questions.
Sure.
If a truck came through that intersection, wiped out the Patel's gas station, burned it to the ground, could they rebuild without getting another special use?
Yes.
If their gas station went vacant for 6 months, could somebody else reopen a gas station without a special use?
No.
Okay, so they would be denied unless they came and got a special use.
Correct.
And if the village board was of a makeup where they said, no, we don't like the gas station, we think it's ugly and we don't want it there, what would there be any recourse, or would that corner go back to residential and the only thing that could happen with that corner is a house be put there?
It is zoned residential, so unless they got a special use for any of the other uses allowed in the R4B district, residential is what would be there.
So if the village board was made up of a group of people with the mindset that they didn't want a gas station there at all, and if the Patels went out of business, or let's say they moved somewhere and shut down the shop for a little while until it's sold, if the timer got past, I think it's 6 months, right?
In the zoning ordinance, it says if the business ceases and is vacant with no activity for 180 days.
180 days.
Right.
Okay. Did you guys know that if the business was not used for 180 days, that it would go back to being residential?
I don't know.
So let's suppose somebody comes by, hypothetically Walgreens, right? And they want to offer you $3 million for that corner. And they say, we love the corner, we want to put a Walgreens in your shop. And it's more than enough money to make you want to leave. Could the Patels sell it to Walgreens, and could Walgreens come in under the current zoning without a special use?
The Patels could sell it to Walgreens. Walgreens could not build there.
Walgreens could not build there.
Not as it's currently zoned.
So essentially, the limitations of R4B zoning state that the only use for that is either being a house on the corner of Winfield and Roosevelt Road, or exactly what it is. And even the situation of what it is now is, in certain circumstances, precarious. Has anything ever gone vacant, to the best of your knowledge, that has caused a problem because it was zoned R4B and they couldn't move back in without gyrations by our village government?
If you're talking about Morgan's
Steakhouse.
Then right, there was some question whether it had been vacant over 180 days, but the interpretation was that it was a special use that was allowed in that district as long as it remained the restaurant, and that the intent was for it to remain the restaurant, so we allowed Morgan's to open. Okay,
I was on the planning commission for that, and we split some very fine hairs. The Morgan Steakhouse had spent, I think it was $1.4 million to open their shop, and it was like 30 days or 45 days before they were slated to open. We rang their doorbell. By we, I mean the village rang their doorbell and said, you guys were vacant too long, you're residential now. And they had to come back here, some might say with hat in hand, in order to be able to open again. Mr. and Mrs. Patel, do you understand that what we're trying to do by rezoning your property gives you as a landowner additional flexibility for anything that you might ultimately want to do in the future? Right now, the village board has intentionally zoned you residential, and I'm going to infer from the previous designs, although there's no way to actually know, by making your property zoned residential with a special use, they've got you on a string, so to speak, like a marionette. So the village government has got strings attached to you running your business as you see fit. If the village government were to rezone your property to the most permissive form of zoning, which would be B1, correct?
B1's if you choose to zone that commercial, B1's the only logical zoning for taking place.
If we did that, it would increase the value of your property potentially to somebody who would want to buy it. Because right now, the only person who could ever buy it under the sun would be somebody who wanted to operate your gas station. If we rezone it to be commercial, to be B1 zoning, then anybody else who might want to ultimately buy it from you guys don't have to go anywhere. You can stay there forever. I mean forever. You could even run a gas station for the next 100 years, and I hope you do. I honestly do. But if at some day you say, I want to retire, or I want money for something else, if somebody comes to you knocking on your door and says, we want to put something other than a gas station there on a very high visibility, very highly traveled corner, by making your property go commercial, it opens up opportunities that are currently foreclosed, that are not an option based on its current zoning. So what Trustee Reyes, Trustee Olson, and myself are trying to do is correct a 50-year wrong and give you the options to control your own destiny. That's what we're looking to do. So I do support this. Thank you.